If you're not ready to listen to me for at least 5 minutes or you're too lazy to use time codes, please continue scrolling TikTok, you spoiled kid. But if you are, welcome. Hi, my name is Vladislav Kushnir, and recently I was very lucky to be a member of the National Geographic expedition to Micronesia. Don't expect to hear something cultural or something insightful, except my own experience. In May 2024, I was invited to join the National Geographic expedition as a videographer and photographer with incredible people. Maria Fadiman, the head of the expedition, David Harrison, expeditor and my professor, Kenny Broad and Shireen Rahimi, expeditors, and Hawortson Heinrich, local expert. Our goal was to explore the local culture and everything related to it. I suppose it's really necessary to give some details about the place. Well, first of all, not just Micronesia, but the Federal States of Micronesia, and their 4 main islands, Yak, Chuk, Kosrae, and Pohnpei. It sounds like that's all, but there's one but. Despite the fact that FSM is an independent country with its own government, laws, the United States is responsible for their protection. It means there are a lot of American contemporary things like food, their American banknotes, and so on. I think with this part we are finished. Most of the time we had spent on Pohnpei Island, and nature and weather there are completely different what I have experienced in Europe and Asia. The weather there is usually hot, but not too much humidity, so it's quite easy to endure it. Rainy weather happens there every day, and it's always the case, like sunny weather, hot, not even one cloud, and then heavy rain, just in the middle of nowhere. It usually lasts for 20 or 30 minutes, and 10 minutes after everything is dry again. One tricky thing there is the sun. You might feel that the weather is quite okay, you don't have to use sunscreen or to use long-sleeved clothes, a hat. Wrong. Completely wrong. For now, I understand why pirates and sailors use long-sleeved clothes, pants, sunburns. Horrible sunburns are waiting for you if you don't follow even one advice, but all the rules of those lands. I made that mistake and don't recommend experiencing that. Nature is unique in all ways. Remember a Disney's cartoon Lilo and Stitch? By and large, everything is the same there. Flowers, trees, animals, and nature itself expands even on people's clothes. I was impressed when I saw men and women wearing shirts, dresses with flowers. Moreover, bright colors definitely are the secret of their happy smiles. One important thing to say, there are various ethno-linguistic groups of people. For example, a child from a family can speak 3 languages at the same time. One from the mother, one from the father, and the third one is English as mutual. We're not going to talk about each group, just let you know. Micronesians are not different people. They just have a very special sense of time. Everything there flows smoothly, no rushing. They just enjoy every single time of their lives. They don't talk. They just enjoy the conversation and your company. They don't come for a meeting. They go to see their friends. They won't try to avoid the conversation with you, but vice versa, initiate it. They're hospitable, they're going to share anything they have when you come to their house. Once we were invited to a birthday party, and they were huge trays with food. From my memory, they were fish, chicken, breadfruit, porridge with coconut milk. We couldn't eat all that at once, so we took those trays and ate all of those foods for a couple of days more back at our house. For sure, some things might be strange for some societies. For instance, if a person is older than the second one, even for 1 minute, the second one must listen to the first one. I would say the hierarchy is strict. If I couldn't tell you about people, I would describe them through their culture. Culture is not only about the features of a certain group of people, it's a summary of fundamentals from your ancestors that you're using right now and will pass on to your descendants. For Pompeians, there are some crucial things for them. Various types of fish, as it's an important part of their cuisine. Here comes fishing, shark carving, coconuts. For sure, there are much more things to say, but let's stop on these things. As Micronesia is a group of islands, fishing has been playing an important role for them for thousands of years. They have a lot of equipment for it, and one of them is an eel trap. Honestly, I have never seen them before, despite the fact my granddad used to take me to go fishing a lot with him back in my childhood in Ukraine. Anyway, it's obvious that modern materials and global changes are doing their job even in such remote places. Nowadays, plastic has replaced traditional materials and plays a more important role in creating traps, but the concept of these traps is still the same as it was. After fishing, for sure, you're going to cook fish. And it's such a wonder to see so many colorful creatures of the ocean. Well, it's tasty, not gonna deny it, but the point is, it's so fascinating to see how the world can make you excited, even if you think it cannot. Coconuts are everywhere, and you admire how they're using them in different scenarios. I suppose for those who have never faced coconuts are growing, it's quite hard to use them in different settings, because the only thing that might come to your mind is, well, to put a straw into a coconut and just drinking the liquid. At some point you're right, but there are even more ways to use it. As it's normal for us to use a small knife to cut an apple, as it's normal for them to use a machete to split a coconut into two halves. They're true experts in working with coconuts, and they're working with them as efficiently as possible, and I believe that there's so many nice recipes that allows you to cook so many tasteful dishes from them. From my memory, you can find carved sharks and fish only on Pompeian Island. They are familiar with sharp-teethed fish since they're little children, and moreover, there are no blueprints for creating them. And the models are as accurate as possible to the reality. Isn't it incredible? It is. Moreover, when my parents got one of those models, they were impressed, and they said that they couldn't buy for any money such incredible masterpiece. I wanted to start this chapter with the words that I had a great opportunity to work with incredible, exceptional, intelligent, kind-hearted people, but I'm gonna tell you another thing. When people from 3 different cultures are meeting each other to study another one, the 4th one, it's something beyond. For me, it's about noticing minor details of how Americans interact with each other, identify and resolve issues, how they joke, build self-borders. I would say it's quite interesting, not just because it's another outlook, but also they're trying to understand your nature. What I've seen as a Ukrainian, I'm more restrained in terms of expressing my own feelings, emotions, and thoughts. On the other hand, Americans are much open-minded and their emotions are bright, vivid. For me, it was just a game where I have to explore a new way of communication. The way how explorers and scientists work is out of my mind. Everything is without forcing, everything is without unnecessary stress, and at the same time they work a lot and effectively. Their secret is still unrevealed to me. Maybe they just enjoy what they do. Definitely. Being an explorer is not for everybody. And I mean, nowadays social media are overloaded with short clips, about discovering new things, trying unusual cuisine, study local rituals. I assume such activities are not for everybody because a lot of people don't want to go out of their comfort zone. The only thing that they need is going to a city center, take a picture, post it, and come back to their hotel where the aircon is waiting for them. For me, I do like trying new things, even though sometimes it challenges me. For instance, drinking kava wasn't something usual to me. The taste is specific, I would say with some dirt, and it's quite hard to drink it while it's cold. However, in the right place, with the right ritual, it tastes good. Anyway, my experience of being an explorer is amazing. The first thought that came up to my mind is, imagine you're a young man that is visiting a country that you have never heard about and it's quite remote from your place, and it turned out that finally you're here and, well, who knows, maybe just a few of the citizens of your countries visited it. These are just personal ambitions. Honestly, I think being an explorer is a huge responsibility. In case it's an endangered language, you have to preserve it. If you're interested in a culture, then you're interested in people, their backgrounds, traditions, history, rituals, and you have to explore as much things as possible. You have to write a lot of notes, you have to write a lot of documents to report and to show to the entire world. You know, there's so many anthropologists who spend their entire lives with such cultures. It's not their job, it's just their lifestyle. I was in charge of taking pictures and recording videos. Most of my time I was carrying camera with me, so I wouldn't miss a unique moment or something unusual. And here comes a tricky thing. Everything is a valuable treasure for an anthropologist or an explorer. I remember once Maria said, you know, these pictures are good, but tomorrow they are priceless memories. Or a long, boring video where a man or a woman does something, quite boring activity, is very important and valuable for an anthropology because it might comprise the way how people interact, what specifically they do, and this is the lesson that David has given to me. Pakin Atoll. Atoll is a coral island. Pakin Atoll is an island that we were lucky to visit. To get to the atoll was an entire challenge. We had to find a boat to get there. One boat was broken, another couldn't do that. And here's the question, what's wrong with getting there? Islands and boats are everywhere. Yes, but Pakin Atoll is a remote island with no wire electricity, with just 70 or 80 people there, and to get there is a task with a star. By word of mouth, some kind people with boats heard our request and agreed to take us to their home. The way there is wavy. Waves are huge in comparison with our 2 carbon boats. 5 people per one, you're just bugs in comparison with ocean's power. This can be compared with an amusement park, but with no safety guarantee. Imagine you go up and immediately down. The nose of the boat hits the water very hard because nobody has cancelled the force of tension. Such a trip lasts nearly 4 hours. In addition, you get numb legs, back, and the whole body. But it all fades and glows with what we got there. To be on the island with a few people where electricity is produced by a generator for a few hours a day, with landscape views, tasty cuisine, unique nature, incredible people, with no internet, is one of the best things in my life. You're broadening your horizons. Well, to be fair, globalization has reached even those places. Adults and kids have smartphones and they can't charge them. There's an antenna on the island. On the one hand, it's really cool that people have such a lifestyle, but on the other hand, it looks like there are fewer and fewer places where it's just nature without the internet and modern technologies. I'm really happy and glad that I have such a moment in my life of being there. It would be naive to think that I have told you everything from the trip. You know, there are so many things that deserve to write a book about or to produce a movie. But still, you have a chance to peer through the door of this kitchen. After the trip, one thought has stuck in my mind. The planet is big, but the world is tiny. Don't forget to subscribe, to hit the like button, to write a comment, and to share with your friends. It might be useful for them as well. See